Welcome everyone to Crystals with Prudence. Please like, share, subscribe and leave a nice comment on your thoughts in comment section. God bless you all.
Who or what is behind the change? Tears streaming down her face, Ruby fell to the ground. Amidst tears, she said, "Why, Kevin, why are you doing this to me? What have I done wrong? I'm sorry if I hurt you ever without knowing." Kevin just looked at her with disdain and walked up to the bed. Within minutes, the sounds of his snores could be heard as he sleep-claimed his tired body, leaving Ruby on the cold bare floor sobbing to herself. She remembered Pastor Mildred's advice and resolved to begin her fast the next day. With that as her anchor, she rose, said her prayers and went to bed. "Honey, I'm leaving for work," Kevin said as he prepared to head out. "Oh, all right, have a productive day today," Ruby said, not trying to cause any drama. Kevin looked at her questionably with his brow furrowed, briefly, and headed for his car. In his car, he thought to himself, "What just happened? She usually asks me to take breakfast and asks when I'd be back home, but today, she didn't. Well, perhaps she's learnt her lesson to just let me be." With this, he drove off to work. "Mr. Barklaw," Kevin's assistant, Missy called out, as she helped her boss with his bag, "You're welcome. Let me go fix your favorite tea." "Oh, Missy, thanks so much for your care these past days. What would I do without you?" Kevin replied, his face full of life, something his wife hasn't seen in over a year now but so desperately desired from her husband. A few moments later, Missy came in with the cup of tea for her boss. Missy was a young lady who just got hired into Kevin's company some few months ago. She was intelligent, beautiful, and had an exquisite aura about her. She has, since she joined the company, attached herself so much to Kevin, bringing him breakfast and lunches even when he didn't ask, and hence, Kevin had developed an unconscious fondness for her. "Pastor Mildred, the 3-day fast is over and I'm here for the prayer session. Can we begin, please? I had a terrible dream last night of a large snake about the length of 2 electric poles joined together and of similar width as an electric pole chasing my husband. It almost had him, but then I saw a great hand from above lift him from the ground, narrowly escaping the snake's bite." Ruby said, "Oh, I see." Pastor Mildred exclaimed, "We need to pray. The Bible says, the effectual, fervent prayer of a righteous man availeth much. You know, Sister Ruby, the Lord reveals to redeem. We have won the victory. We just have to agree in spirit with the Father and affirm our conquest through prayer. Let's get to it already." Pastor Mildred said as she grabbed Ruby's hands. Hand in hand, the two women prayed zealously for Kevin's release from whatever spiritual powers were holding him down and turning him against his own marriage. "Mr. Barklaw, I just finished with the finance statement you requested for," Missy said, getting suspiciously closer to Kevin than usual. Suddenly, as if struck by lightning bolt, Kevin turned to look at Missy, eyebrows furrowed. "What are you doing standing so close to me? Shouldn't you be seated across the table from me?" "Mr. Barklaw, Before Missy could finish her statement, "Get seated," Kevin retorted. "I am a married man, Missy, and I love my wife. What did you think you were about doing? From now on, I don't need your cooking services. I've got a wife at home who cooks great meals. I don't need a second wife at my workplace. Do you get that?" Kevin retorted, furious. "Any such action again from you and you're fired, do you get that?" Yes sir," Missy managed to say, stuttering. She left the office barely feeling her legs. She's never seen her boss act this way before. What has come over him? Has their spell over him been broken? "What happened in there? I heard the boss yelling while you were inside." The secretary, Jude, asked the trembling Missy. "Sir, I'm sorry, but I can't continue this deal any longer. You told me to charm the boss and get him into my bed, so we could manipulate him into getting him removed from office. But now, my own job is at stake. I'm afraid I can't risk my livelihood for your benefit. You'd have to find someone willing to sell themselves for you. I'm backing out," Missing responded. "What? Missy, you can't say that. I've invested so much money into your seductive outfits, perfumes and hairstyles to get you to seduce him. You'd have to pay me all that back before you back out. How can I waste all that money on you?" Mr. Jude retorted. The banter continued until Kevin, who has risen from his office wanting to grab a snack outside, on his way, overheard their back and forth argument, oblivious of his presence, until they both heard the clearing of a throat behind them. Boss," Jude began. "Good morning, sir." Getting no response from Kevin but an straight look, Jude continued. "No need to pretend, sir. We know you heard us. Yes, we connived to tarnish your image by causing you to sleep with Missy, so we could get you removed out of office. But for whatever reason, our plans haven't succeeded. We even got you charmed, which came easy because you have been so busy with work that your prayer shield was so easy to penetrate. and we got you to begin to find faults with your wife and gradually began to distance yourself from her, and that was where Missy could come in, to satisfy those needs you felt your wife couldn't satisfy. Yes, we did all that, and I was behind it all. I don't regret it because I hate you. You don't deserve to be my boss, Jude said in fury, showing no remorse whatsoever. Missy just stood beside him, head bowed and quiet, praying she wouldn't get fired. Kevin cleared his throat and calmly said, "Pack your boxes and leave, you're both fired. I don't expect to see you here tomorrow, or I wouldn't handle this lightly," Kevin added, still in a calm voice. Jude walked off rudely and angrily to get his stuff, leaving Missy kneeling and pleading her innocence. Kevin got back into his office, picked up his bag and left for the house. He needed to see his wife. He had hurt her so badly all along, being blinded due to his spiritual slumber, which opened the door for the devil into his home. He hadn't been the husband God had called him to be, and the head his wife and kids needed him to be. All these thoughts run through his head as he drove home. On arrival, unexpectedly, he didn't meet his wife at home. Calling her phone and hearing someone answer, he said, "My love, where are you?" Ruby was speaking with Pastor Mildred after their prayer session and her phone in Karen's hands. She had mistakenly answered the phone when it rang. Hearing her daddy's voice, Karen screamed, "Daddy, Daddy, I miss you so much, Daddy. Are you home now?" Kevin, hearing his daughter's voice, the voice he had been missing for months now due to work, made him realize how absent he really was from home. "Sweetie, where are you and your mum?" "We're at Pastor Mildred's house. Daddy, will you come pick us up?" "Absolutely, sweetheart. Daddy's coming over right now." This made the little girl giggle with joy. "Who are you speaking with, Karen?" Ruby asked, as she ended her conversation with Pastor Mildred. "Daddy, he says he's coming to get us," Karen said with a grin. Shocked beyond words, Ruby turned around to look at Pastor Mildred, a surprised expression on her face. "That's how fast the Lord can work, Sister Ruby," Pastor Mildred said happily. After a while, the horn of a car was heard. Karen immediately rushed out and into her daddy's swoop she went. "Daddy," she said amidst laughter. "Ruby, I got home and didn't see you. I desperately need to talk to you." "Oh, hello Pastor Mildred," Kevin said approaching the ladies. "I'd take my leave now, thank you so much Pastor Mildred," Ruby said, giving Pastor Mildred a hug. "We're always here for you," Pastor Mildred replied. On their way home, Karen, overjoyed by the presence of her father, asked him, "Daddy, when are we going out for family day?" Without much hesitation, Kevin switched roads. "Right now, sweetie," he said. Ruby was shocked to the bone. Is this the answer to her prayers? But why did it feel so fast? She thought it'd take a while before she got any answers to her prayers. God is indeed good and he hears the prayers of his children, she thought silently to herself, smiling all along. They arrived at their favorite restaurant, as a couple. It was where they had their first date during their courting stages. Ruby looked at her husband, as if falling in love with him all over again. "You haven't forgotten," she said, her eyes getting misty as she teared up. "Ruby, I want you to know that I love you. I treated you so badly recently without realizing it. I was under a spell from some people at my workplace. But I'm free now, and I promise to make it up to you. All the pain I've caused you, I'm ready to spend the rest of my life making it up to you. Please forgive me," he said, taking her hand and kissing it slowly, looking into her eyes. "I forgive you, my love. I have been on a 3-day fast with Pastor Mildred because your behavior of late was so usual of you, and it surprises me how fast God answered and saved you for me. I hold no grudges against you, Kevin," she said, looking at him ever so sweetly. Their sweet moment was interrupted by Karen's voice. "Daddy, Mummy, I'm hungry. Can we go in and eat now?" Both parents laughed at her cute expression. Hand in hand, their little baby in Kevin's arms, they walked into the restaurant, starting a new and happy chapter of their lives together at the same place their love first blossomed.